Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley, and I'm leaving the office Friday. What time is it? 6:20. Dun, dun, dun. The week's been up and down. I just had a client called me, well, emailed me. And I had set up probation on a case, right? And when I can do this, I do it. I set up and I got the prosecutor to agree with a special condition that the probation be terminated upon payment of restitution, right? Whatever the victim's owed. I knew that. I had some time for my client to acquire the funds, and walked into the courtroom with the check. Now, I personally think that the prosecutor should have just went, hey, look, if you're giving me the check up front, let's just call it a withhold of adjudication and court cost and be done. But because he was looking at several years of probation, the prosecutor didn't do it that way. Now, why does it bother me? It shouldn't bother me, right? Because if the plan works and he walks in, the judge gives the sentence, and he walks into the other room and he meets with probation or down the street, whatever it may be, right? In this case, it was a felony. So if he walks in and he goes, hey, Mrs. Probation Officer, here's my certified check, my money order, whatever it may be. I'm paid. Nice meeting you. See ya. That's how it should work. But it doesn't work that way, folks. Because some of the people at probation, like some of the lawyers, some of the policemen, some of the military members, right? Some people are lazy. They take advantage of others. They're corrupt. So what happens? He goes down to probation. He's got the money in hand, ready to go. Here you go. Oh, we got to do an intake. Yeah, an intake at probation is pretty damn simple. Name, address, loved one, last address, email, blah, blah, blah. There you go. Intake. Pretty simple. Especially when you're going to create one or two pieces of paper and close the file for good because it's over. Automatically terminate upon completion or upon handing them a good check or good money order. They don't take cash. Right? So what does good old probation do? Well, we're gonna talk to you today, but we can't do the intake today. We're gonna have to set that for a week or so. And then he's like, well, here, I gave you the check. You know what? We're gonna show up at your house and search it. All of this stuff is contrary to the court order. The guy doesn't have anything. He doesn't get in trouble. Now they're telling him, oh, yeah, we made you pay for the month. We showed up at your house to do a visit. We're going through we're going to drug test you too. I don't know what goes through the brains of these people, but automatically terminates upon payment of restitution. What else does it friggin' mean? Now it's Friday and it's late. But because it annoys me, and it annoys me that people do what they want to do and then the law loses its meaning, I'm going to call over to probation. I'm not going to talk to the dum-dum that he's dealing with. I'm going to talk to the head of probation. And I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm the attorney of record. Here's the order. Are we going to follow the order, Or am I going to file a motion and request your presence in the courtroom to explain to the court why you're not following the flipping order? So annoying. So annoying. On a positive note, I had a gentleman that hired me, I don't know, within a month, about a month ago or so. And I always try to reach out to case filing. And when I read the police report of this gentleman, I was like, oh boy, like, what did I get myself into? This is a mission. But I talked to him, and he's a nice guy. And I talked to him probably a little bit more than I would somebody else. I don't know. I was extracting information to understand how he got arrested. So I take all this information and I put it into a letter. And that letter goes to the case filing attorney. Now, this case took a little bit longer than I think what's normal these days, because they've been going a lot quicker in case filing. But the prosecutor, the assistant state attorney, the case filing attorney, someone who's been around for a while, calls me up and says, hey, Roger, this is ASA so-and-so. I'm not going to say names. I'm calling you on Mr. Smith. And I'm going, oh boy. Because I got a bunch of clients and I'm terrible at names. I'm great at stories. And she says, and I go, okay, let me get my brain around it, because I'm just getting off the phone. I'm working on a motion. I'm dealing with some personal injury cases. I'm ordering, like, I got a lot going on simultaneously. And I go, oh, what the hell? And my brain's just not kicking the name to the case. And she's like, you wrote me the letter. So I get right to the client's case. And I look at what my letter wrote. Oh, got it. It's a gun charge and some other charges. And she goes, you made some arguments, from that the gun was visible, so it's not a concealed weapon or concealed firearm. And you made some other arguments in regards to this and da-da-da. She's like, I could debate you a little bit on this, Foley, but generally I think you're right on this. And I'm dropping the 2 felonies and I'm leaving the misdemeanor. So boom, you get someone who's facing prison time, right? That's facing, years, to someone now who's possibly facing up to a year, but probably not, right? So I call this client, hey, Mr. Smith. And when he answers, he's like, hey, Foley, but I could hear he's a little bit down, right? And I go, hey, man, what's going on? And he goes, I don't know, man. Since this arrest, it just seems like, things are going wrong. I got some family issues going on, some employment issues, some of this issue, some of that issue. And it all stems, right, from the arrest, right? When you are arrested and you're facing time, there's pressure. There's pressure to pay an attorney, right? There's pressure to find the right attorney that's actually going to work. There's pressure on you because of the unknown, because no attorney can guarantee a result, right? We can work hard, but no one can read the future. There's pressure from friends and family, like, dude, why did you do this? Why? Oh my God, why is she doing that? Like, these kinds of things. There's people who are judging, right? Your name might be in the paper, your face may be on the internet, and it's a scary thing. Anyone who's truly not a criminal, they're pretty nervous. So this guy goes, listen, things have, I don't know, it's like one after another. It's like, and I call them collateral consequences, things that are due to this, but it's not the principal cause, but they cause other problems, right? So, for instance, if you on a drug case, if you get convicted, you lose your driver's license. It's a collateral consequence. You might become a convicted felon, you may be convicted of a misdemeanor, but regardless, if you're convicted, you lose your license. That's a collateral consequence because, right, you might have probation or jail. Those are the main consequences, but the collateral consequence may be losing your driver's license or your job or your insurance or, these kinds of things. So he's got a lot of collateral consequences going on. So I want to motivate people, right? I want to help. I'm here to help, right? I wouldn't be doing personal injury and criminal defense if I didn't want to help, right? So I tell him, I go, let me tell you a story. And I'm going to just say, Mr. Smith. Hey, Mr. Smith, let me tell you about this story. And he's like, all right, like I could just tell, like, he's like, what's he going to tell me, right? Like, so I go, there's this young man. I heard this story several years ago, and it always holds true for me. There's a son and a father, and the young man, I don't know, he's teens, he's early 20s, but he's got a big anger problem. Anger management's not his thing, and he's fighting with his girlfriend, and he's fighting with his parents, and he's fighting at school or work, and his friends, and all these different people. He's getting into fights. He's losing his temper. And he's just having a meltdown, So he goes to his father, right? Because, we always try to seek guidance from somebody. And in this case, it's his father. And he says, look, Dad, I think about it and I try to do it. But man, I'm going crazy. Like every day, everything bothers me. It's pissing me off. He's like, is there any advice that you can give me? His dad's like, let's walk out to the shed. And he digs around and he finds a pail. And he finds a box and some stuff. And all of a sudden he's like, he's got like a box of nails or something. He's like pouring a box of nails. It's like 500 nails, 1,000 nails. And he goes, here. And he hands the kid, his son, he hands him all these nails. Like, okay. And he looks around and all of a sudden he grabs a hammer and he hands him the hammer and he's like, son looks at him, he's like, what are you, friggin' Mr. Miyagi? Like, what am I supposed to do? And he goes, listen, I want you to just walk outside. Because you see that fence right there? Yeah, Dad, I see the fence. Every time you get mad, son, I want you to take one of these nails and I want you to use that energy and I want you to pound it into the fence. And the kid's like, what? And he goes, you came to me for advice, son, and I want to give you some guidance. Trust me, and you're gonna understand as time goes. Just bear with me. Follow my direction. You asked, I'm giving you the solution. Okay, all right. So the next day, kid wakes up. He's late for, I don't know, school. He's late for work. Son of a bitch! And he bangs in the first nail and misses it, just bangs that nail in. And something else happens during the day, and something else happens during the day. And this guy ends up putting, 20 nails in that day. Just like freaking nails, right? Because he's lost his temper that many times. And it's a little bit of work, it's a little bit of physical activity. Next day, it's a little bit better. It's like 18, 19. Oh, son of a friggin'. Puts all these nails in. The next day, a little bit less. It's like, I put nails in? I'm like, just in the first couple of days, he's 20, 19, 18, right? 15, 10, 5. You get the idea, right? 3, 2, 1. And then the next day, he's good. He doesn't lose. He runs in. He goes, Dad. I didn't lose. I didn't even get mad one time today. Look at all the holes. Look at all the nails in the fence. I put them all in. There's like, 500, 1,000 nails. He goes, son, what I want you to do now is every day that you go without losing your cool, without losing your temper, I want you to remove a nail. So the next day comes, he's good, removes a nail, removes a nail, removes a nail, removes a nail. And he does this for some time, right? I told you 500, 1,000 nails, right? He gets them all out. Days go by, weeks go by, months go by, right? Because it's one nail per day. And he goes, now he's pulled out all the nails, and he runs to his dad. He goes, Dad, I am cured. Oh, how did this happen? I'm cured. And the father goes, well, look at my fence. He looks over at the fence. That was a sturdy, strong wood, pine, whatever. And now this fence is struggling, right? It's not as secure. He goes, look what you did to the fence. And I tell my client, I go, what's the next thing? All right, now that you did that, every day that you continue, right, to not lose your cool, and you keep your cool and you mature, go get some wood putty at Home Depot, whatever, start building that fence and replace a board here or there, kind of build that foundation. And I shared that story because when you are arrested, and I say it with criminal cases, like the stuff with personal injury cases too, right? When people are harmed and upset, like we lose our cool. And anger is one of the things that we all deal with, right? Because life's not easy. So I explained to him. I said, listen, I just called you up, right? We just got the nails out of the fence. The two felonies, the ones that are going to put you in a prison cell, are gone. They're gone. But I understand your marriage is still struggling, family life, in-laws, right? Work stuff. But as we talked about before, it's a collateral consequence. It's a consequence of your initial actions. There are always consequences, folks. And there are always collateral consequences. But you didn't hear me say that the fence fell down, right? The fence was weakened. The fence had holes in it. Maybe your relationship with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister, your parents, your fellow workers, whoever it may be, that may be damaged, but it's not down. It's not disassembled. It's not destroyed. It can slowly be repaired. One piece of putty, one board, whatever it may be at a time. It takes some time. It's a lot easier, right? 20 nails the first day. It's a lot easier to do that, right? To lose your cool. So that means those consequences come quick. But building them back up is a slow process. One nail at a time, one day at a time. So rejoice when you have that positivity, right? When you get 2 major charges dismissed before you even walk in a courtroom. The pressure should be off. You're not likely facing incarceration at this point. It's always a possibility. Like, it would be a lot less than what you were, right? Work on the relationship with your significant other. Work on those relationships, because you can change them, and you decide what you're going to be, right? No one says, oh, you're going to be a bad guy or you're going to be a good guy. No one says you're going to get on YouTube or you're not going to get on YouTube, right? You make a decision on who you want to be as a person. And we all have made mistakes. Roger P. Foley's made a lot of mistakes in his lifetime. But I want to be something different. I know my clients, my friends even, my own family, we want to be better, right? People want to be better. And there's some people, don't get me wrong, some people come to my office, they don't care about being better, and they take my story and tell me to shove it up you know where, right? But for the vast majority, they want to be better. So, be better. I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. Be better.